So next I'm doing a review of a TV series that I personally call 1923 Season 2. So this is the second season to obviously the first season of 1923. I think technically it's 1924 at this point in the season, but it is what it is, 1923. So this is one of the offshoots, one of the sub-series of the Yellowstone kind of universe, right? So you had Yellowstone, and you've got 5, 6 seasons of Yellowstone with Kevin Costner and all that lot. And then they did an offshoot series, which was like a prequel, which was kind of about how the family got to Yellowstone, like the ranchers, the cowboys, how they actually got there initially. And it's one of those sort of traveling across America. This prequel offshoot series was called 1883, I think, or something like that, 1880 something. And then in that series, there was a little boy, tiny little boy called Spencer, and now he is one of the leads in this next series, which is another offshoot, completely different cast, called 1923. So 1923 has Harrison Ford, Helen Mirren, and then a bunch of other actors that I didn't really know. But it's really, really epic. It's in that time between World War One and World War Two. It's still the Yellowstone sort of farm. It's still the Dutton family, and it's epic. It's so epic. It's so exciting. You got stories from all sort of sides of the world. You've got Spencer on a boat in Italy, having to transport alcohol illegally to America because it's the prohibition. You've got Alexandra. She is in England, and she's promised Spencer that she'll meet him in Montana, where his ranch is. But there's no telephones or anything in those days, so she's just got to find her way to Montana. And she's rich, but she has to travel poor because she's sort of giving up her richness to be with Spencer and the Dutton family. So she's a bit like, Rose from Titanic in a sense. Really out of her depth, really learning about life without the riches. And so her story is really harrowing. And then obviously you've got the Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren. They're in Montana, in Bozeman or wherever it is. And you've got Timothy Dalton? Who's the James Bond actor who's like the villain in this? He's in this as well. I'm just going to find out what his name is. Yes, Timothy Dalton. So he's the villain in this. He's trying to take the land from the Duttons. Obviously, the Duttons have amassed a huge amount of land in Montana, and Timothy Dalton wants to sort of basically buy it and make it a tourist attraction where it's the Duttons' way of life. And then also you've got the story of the Indian who was in the first season. She was sort of practically kidnapped into some sort of Catholic church school where they teach you how to be a good God-fearing woman. But she, was pretty much tortured and raped there, so she killed a couple of nuns and escaped and ran. And in this season she's still running, and she's like practically run across America, and the priests are still fucking chasing her. It's so annoying. So yeah, you've got all these stories, and they're all kind of semi-linking, and they're all reaching towards some crescendo. I have to say, Timothy Dalton's character, he has a fetish, a sexual fetish. It's more a fetish of power. He enjoys seeing people in pain. He enjoys seeing somebody causing the pain. So he enjoys watching another girl hurting another girl. And he enjoys seeing the pleasure that the girl hurting the other girl gets from hurting the other girl. That's some sort of twisted fetish, and I get it. It's a complicated fetish. It's a fetish of a man who enjoys power, I guess. I will say they do a few too many of those scenes to the point where it was starting to even lose its kind of shock value, because that's what it was there for. It was sort of shock value, so you can be like, oh, what a despicable human. But they showed like over the two series, I swear I saw about 8 of these sort of sexual torture scenes, and I'm like, oh yeah, I get it, and it just sort of it lost its shock value, and it kind of a bit boring after a while. I was like, okay, can we move on? I'm sick of watching a girl hurt another girl, and then seeing Timothy Dalton get pleasure from that. It was just, I saw it too many times. Like twice would have been okay. But yeah, they just kept showing it, and I was like, ugh. When it got to those moments, I was a bit like, oh, come on, can we go back to Spencer traveling with all the contraband, you know? Um, Spencer and Alex. I love Spencer. I think he's really, really cool, very handsome guy with a great moustache. Obviously, I'm trying to grow a moustache now because of him. Um, but he's fixated on getting home to save his ranch, his family. He's fixated on that. In the first season, there was this big love story between him and Alexandra. They really fell in love. But the second season, I really feel like it's kind of a one-sided relationship, because it seems as though he's barely given her a second thought in the second season. Like she's barely on his mind. He's got one thing on his mind, and it's get to Montana to save his ranch. She goes through hell to get to him. Like every step she takes is for him. You know, every step she takes towards Montana, having to go through the immigration, the humiliation of it all, having to go through getting mugged, almost freezing to death in the snow in a car. It's all for him, just to get to him. And I don't feel like he's given her any thought in this season. He hasn't mentioned her once. He doesn't talk about her. There's no sign of him like struggling with the choice of, should I go to my farm or should I go get the love of my life, who we got separated from in the first season? There seems to be no inward battle in him. He just cares about his farm. Sorry, which makes me feel like this is such a one-sided relationship, because she is literally killing herself to get to him. She's literally she's going through hell. And yeah, he's got his own adventure with the alcohol and stuff, but it really, she is not on his brain. She does not concern him at all, it seems like. He's neither here nor there. If she didn't end up, like when she even gets to him, one of the first things he said is, you didn't have to go through this trouble at all. like he was not like desperate to see her at all. He was going to deal with his business and then I guess maybe go get her after. Like, her story is really kind of, it bears no fruits. It doesn't, it feels pointless. She dies really for nothing at the end. She freezes to death trying to get to him, and she sees him for what seems about 20 minutes. She meets him for 20 minutes. She went through like 4 months of absolute hell to get to him and see him for about 20 minutes. And then she dies, and it's just like, that was not worth the last 4 months of your life, I'm afraid. He was not even that worried about you, if I'm honest with you. So that was a bit of a downside. But again, I enjoyed their stories, their adventures. It's just that overarching thing I was not on board with. But the MVPs, the most valuable players of this show, were Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren. They are wonderful. What a great couple. What an aspiring, like when you think of what you want to be like in your old age, you want someone to love you the way they love each other, where it's like they know each other inside out. They know everything about the other person, all of the good and all of the bad, and they love them throughout it all, and they know exactly how to speak to each other, they know exactly how to deal with one another, they know exactly how to be angry with each other and how to love each other. They just are just a perfect couple, such an aspiring couple. I really want to be like them. Harrison Ford is hilarious, Helen Mirren is hilarious, she's wise, and they really bring the heart to this show. Seriously, this show would be quite mid maybe quite a mid show without them. But because they're in it and their relationship and their acting, it elevates this show to a top tier show. I'm serious. It's a real top tier show. I loved this show so much, and I'm happy to sort of overlook some of the weird pitfalls with Spencer and Alexandra's relationship, and some of the weird, odd sexual fetish scenes that go on for too long and they're too often. I can overlook all of it, and just say that Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren elevate this to a top tier show. It is an excellent show, largely down to them and their chemistry, the way they say the dialogue. It just works. They're so poetic in a way. These cowboys, they might seem like uneducated people that just know one thing, and it's how to deal with cows and how to herd cows and ride horses. But the way they speak to each other, it was with such sort of wisdom and poetry. Like I say, like, some of the things they say are so beautiful that you think that, damn, like I would never be able to be as eloquent as that in that kind of way. It's just so good to watch them speak this dialogue. They really, really suit it. So there you go. That's my review. I thought the show was marvelous, largely down to Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren, but the show in its entirety was great. Season 1 and Season 2, I highly recommend this whole show. I think it was awesome. Please tell me what you thought about it in the comments below. I would love to know.